Well, hey, welcome to Life with Peter. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, thanks for showing up. As you know, I haven't posted anything on YouTube for about 3 months, and I'm going to explain why and what's going on with our firewood business and a few other things that have happened in our life. Just a short update to give you the information of what we've been up to, what we're dealing with, and what some of the possibilities are for our future. So come on along and stay tuned to the end, because I've got a question for you. So thanks for being here. Let's get started. Well, if you've been here before, you notice that there isn't any wood anywhere that isn't already bucked up and stacked. Normally our driveway is full of logs because we had 3 tree services giving us wood, as much as we wanted whenever we wanted it. And as you also know, if you've been here before, I haven't put up a video for about 3 months. And that's because just after we got our Wolf Ridge splitter, we got a notice from Midvale City, where we live, which is about 20 minutes or so drive from downtown Salt Lake on the south side. And what it was is somebody had complained about our wood, our logs and stuff. And so the city came and shut us down. We didn't have a business license. We didn't know we needed one. We'd been operating for, I don't know, about 1.5 years, and just about the time we got the Wolf Ridge splitter delivered, the city came and said, you don't have a business license, you can't sell any firewood, and because of the way we stored the wood, they said it was a nuisance, meaning possible insect infestation or a home for rodents and all that kind of stuff. And we didn't have it stored at least 18 inches off the ground or on concrete. The concrete storage is actually from Salt Lake County, not from Midvale City where we live. But they incorporated that because we didn't have a business license, and I think they just wanted to make it really tough for us. So we had to shut down the business, so we haven't sold any firewood for 3 months, even though we've had lots of people coming by and calling about firewood. So we ended up hiring a law firm, and we met with the city to try and rectify this whole thing about storage and nuisance storage is what they call it. That's the whole thing about insects and rodents. And also because it wasn't either on concrete or it wasn't stored at least 18 inches off the ground. So we met with the city, our lawyers were there, and they were horrible to work with, the city of Midvale. They were belligerent, they were condescending. They said things like, oh, because it's firewood, then it could spontaneously combust whatever the ambient temperature was, which is absolutely ludicrous. They couldn't have been worse to work with. We figured we'd go there, we'd work out some kind of win-win situation, a compromise, we'd come into compliance. Our lawyers submitted an application for a business license, and that we just found out they refused. And it was just absolutely amazing at their unwillingness to look and find some kind of way that we could continue our operation. They had a ordinance officer there that was enforcing code, had taken pictures back in March, and while we presented evidence that we had cleaned up the place, we had actually at that point stopped taking wood. We actually got a huge dumpster to get rid of all the scraps and stuff. We cleaned up the place. The opening sequence there was how our property looks now, and if you go back in some other videos, and I'll put a link to a couple here, you'll see how much wood we had. I mean, it was out of hand. My concern was that at some point we would stop getting wood, so the more we could take, the more we could dry, the more we'd have inventory, especially throughout the wintertime, because we had customers 12 months out of the year. At any rate, they didn't care to look at it. They didn't care that we'd cleaned up the place. I mean, it looks really nice now. We're really proud of it, but they didn't care. So Anyway, we had to stop selling wood. We can't sell any more wood. We've got a pretty big inventory, and it is what it is. So we're thinking of other ways to distribute our wood to people who want firewood, because it's hard to get here, even though we're in Utah. So one of the things we're thinking is starting a GoFundMe page where we give the wood away, and people can donate to our GoFundMe page, because that's going to hopefully help pay for our legal bills. The only way to see if we could get a business license would be to take them to court, and probably the only way that we're going to get any satisfaction and create some kind of a win-win situation, although we don't really care about Midville, but allow us to store the amount of firewood that we have, is to take them to court. And in talking with our lawyers, basically the cost is prohibitive. We don't know what it would cost, and we don't know if we would win. The reason we couldn't get a business license is because here in Midville, if you run a business off your residential property, you have to store all your materials and everything and do your business inside of a building, which meant coming up to code. So that's a cement foundation and footings and probably some kind of metal building, and we're just not going to do that to this beautiful property. And it's just, you can't store firewood inside a building and dry it. So basically we're just shut down. So we haven't sold anything for 3 months. Like I said, we'd only just taken delivery of our Wolf Ridge splitter. So anyway, we're trying to figure out what to do. If you have any suggestions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. We're looking for any kind of insights or ways people have worked in these kind of situations, whether it's a firewood business or another business you run on your property. There might be something that might open up some opportunity for us. The other thing is, there's a couple of things, and this is just going to be a short video to update you on what's going on, is 6 weeks ago I contracted COVID. So for the last 6 weeks or so, I've been basically on my back on oxygen almost 24/7. This is one of the few days I've been outside. I only went outside for the first time earlier this week when I went and saw my doctor, and I'm feeling stronger every day. I'm feeling better every day, but I'm one of those what they call long haulers, people who contracted COVID and it's taking a long time for it to clear up. So when I went to the emergency and was diagnosed later that day, when I came home, there was a medical supply company and they delivered oxygen, and that guy had COVID, and in 10 days he was back at work. So a lot of people get over it fairly quickly, but for me it's lingering. I have heart disease, I'm a diabetic, high blood pressure, 72 years old, and my doctor said, it's amazing you didn't end up in the hospital for a stay. So like I said, I'm feeling better every day, but she said you have to come back slowly because you don't want to relapse. That would be probably definitely a hospital stay at that point. But the University of Utah is doing a study on ivermectin and long haulers, and so they have a clinic for that. My doctor put in an order to get an appointment there, but it's 6 to 8 weeks before you can do it because they're just so backed up. Utah is one of the worst states right now for COVID. Lots of reasons for that. I'm not going to go into. I'm not going to make it a statement about COVID or vaccines or anything else, but I had chosen not to get vaccinated. And for a year and a half, never was affected. And then I had to make 2 trips down to Price, Utah to put on a chainsaw training course for the Backcountry Horsemen of Utah, which is a organization that does a lot of trail clearing on Forest Service land, builds corrals, hauls in supplies for the Forest Service, helps build bridges and stuff like that. We in fact give back more in-kind donations across the country, because this is a national organization called Backcountry Horsemen of America, and all that we do, there's an hourly rate that the Forest Service assigns to every job, and we've given back over $150 million since this organization has volunteered with the Forest Service. So I went down for 3 days to Price to put on a chainsaw certification course, which is 1 day classroom, 1 day in-field experience, and then we certify or recommend certification through the Forest Service of different levels of what a person can do as a volunteer operating a chainsaw on Forest Service land. Came home for 2 days, went back down and did a 3-day course with the Forest Service, helping them certify their seasonal employees. And down there, I didn't wear a mask. There were a lot of people that, in fact, that nobody wore masks down there. And I came home, and 2 days later, I was down with COVID. So whether I got it down there or somewhere else, I don't know. I stayed in the hotel. Maybe that's where I got it. I don't know. It really doesn't matter. What really matters is that I take the time to heal. So in all this, we have 30 days with Midville to negotiate some kind of a plan for our firewood and the rounds we have. We want to take those rounds and build some fences out front because we live on a pretty busy road here in Midville and we want a little more privacy. And my wife has found some sites that show some beautiful fences and architectural, what would you call it, artistic walls using rounds like this or split wood. So we're contemplating that. We're doing some research. We want to make sure that anything we do, we're not going to have a problem with Midvale City. So that's another thing we're looking at. We're just not going to roll over for them. And they haven't been forthcoming in terms of what all that would look like. Because they don't know. They've never had this issue before. But we've gone around taking pictures of properties just in our local neighborhood, not even in the whole city of Midvale. And it's amazing what people have stored on their property. Some places are just trashed. But Midvale doesn't do anything unless somebody complains. And even if somebody complains, they may or may not do anything about it. Anyway, you know, we're just seeing what the next step is. My wife and I both agreed early on when this first happened that whatever happens, life has always got something better to bring us. We've always seen that in our relationship since we've been married, which is, well, the other day was our 16th anniversary, so we're going into our 17th year. So, thumbs up to us. It's been an incredible journey, and it only is getting better. So we've always said that whatever happens, life is always going to bring us something better. Everything happens for a reason. And yeah, this has tested us. This has really tested us because there's a lot of emotions here. And part of me wants to make sure that I win against Midvale, which is a very dangerous position to hold. You know, if we can create a win-win situation or something that we're happy with, that's great. And if we have to get rid of all this wood and do something completely different, okay, fine. So at the beginning of this, I said I had a question for you. I'm going to put up what I've been using prior, even though I haven't used it in a number of videos, was an intro that I did. And I'm going to put that up after this. And it has a number of different themes of what I wanted this channel to be. Now, it became about firewood because for the last year and a half, I worked our business 4, 6, 8 hours a day, at least 6 days a week. And when my wife was off work, she'd work at her 3 days off as well. We loved working together. We loved splitting wood, bucking it up, all that kind of stuff. And, well, here we are. So, my question to you, would you watch the intro, look at all the themes, and they weren't everything that I wanted to create up my channel about, but they incorporate a number of the things that are really important to me. Tell me what you think. Should I start a new channel that hasn't been focused on firewood? Should I just continue? And some of you probably will unsubscribe. That's okay. But I never really wanted it to be just about firewood. It just became that. And it's been awesome. I've loved this community and growing it. and sharing and having comments and answering those comments and questions and seeing what other people are doing. It's been awesome. But I never wanted it to be just about firewood, and this is an opportunity for me to start kind of fresh and incorporate a lot more of the things that I'm passionate about, that I'm interested in. Tell me what you think. Let me know in the comments below. I'd really appreciate it, because I'm looking for a little guidance, especially from those of you that have been here for a while, and I'd really appreciate it. And I appreciate you all, whether you stay on the channel or not, or if I start a new channel that opens up the possibilities of sharing my passion and what we do. Just really appreciate you. YouTube is an incredible format. Since I've been on my back with COVID, I watch a lot of YouTube videos because I'm a learner, and there's so many things I can learn from YouTube videos. I watch people from around the world cooking and hiking and camping and travel, this whole culture that is people living in their van and traveling, and how they put it up, shooting video, shooting pictures, becoming a better filmmaker. It's incredible. No matter what you want to learn, you can do that on YouTube. So appreciate you all. If you decide to unsubscribe, thanks for being here. You always gave me hope and a sense of gratitude that I was sharing something that maybe inspired or taught, just entertained, whatever it might be. Thanks for being here, and if you stay with the channel, I appreciate that. I especially like to hear from all of you about the changes that will come to this channel and what you think. So until the next video, and I'm going to, by the way, I am going to cover some of these things in more detail in subsequent videos in the next little while. I just wanted to do an update for you because I didn't want you to think that I wasn't doing this. Just a lot of things happened all at once. Has it been stressful? Sure. But I'm excited about whatever might come from all of this. And thank you so much for being a part of this channel. And I hope all the best for you on your journey, whatever it might be. And if you decide to leave a comment, I'd really appreciate if you told me what you're doing and what you see for your near and future and what you're working towards. I love getting to know people that way. So all the best, have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.